Today we're going to focus on Lab 17. Go ahead and get out your lab notebook and copy this. We're working on page 37 today. You might be similar. Question number 1 says, what can you say about the composition of each color? Looking at the word composition, thinking about what it means. If I were to give you a chocolate chip cookie and ask you to tell me about its composition, you would tell me that the cookie's made with things like flour, sugar, butter, eggs, vanilla, and such. So what's it made of? Question number 2. Do markers of the same color always behave the same? 2 of the markers we're going to be looking at are a permanent black marker and a watercolor marker. So you're going to want to take a look at how those colors behave. Number 3, write a couple of sentences about what you observed. So thinking about what happens today, you're going to tell me about what you see. Pay special attention to each of the different colors. And then finally, when we get to the end and we're looking at our final product, we're going to ask you to use colored pencils and to draw what you see in the square below. So for today's lab, we have a piece of what we call chromatography paper. It's attached to a craft stick or a popsicle stick. At the bottom, you'll see where we have drawn 3 centimeters up a line with pencil. And then on the far left, we have a dot of watercolor red, then a dot of watercolor green. The third dot is actually permanent marker, black. It's actually a Sharpie. And the last dot is also black, but it's with watercolor. So for our lab today, we're going to go ahead and we're going to place our chromatography paper into a cup of water so that the edge of the paper just touches the water at the bottom. And then we're going to watch what happens as the water travels up the chromatography paper, similar to a paper towel, and it draws that water up. This process could take a few minutes. So we've been watching for about 5 minutes or so, a little less. You can see that the red coloring, as the water is being pulled up, the red is beginning to stretch out. I notice the different colors. Take notice of the green. As the green is pulling up, look at what's happening. Then we have our permanent Sharpie black marker there. Notice what's happening with it. And finally, on the right-hand side, we have our watercolor black marker. Take notice of what's happening as it begins to be pulled up the chromatography paper. This is a good time to think about question number 1. Question number 1 asked you to identify the composition of each of the colors. Make sure that you answer your questions in complete, quality responses. As you move on to question number 2, do markers of the same color always behave the same? Look at the 2 black dots. You'll notice one of them has remained in its original form. That's the permanent marker. Take notice of the one to its right. That was the watercolor marker. Notice how it's behaving. As you move on to question number 3, which is to write a couple of sentences about what you have observed, this would be a good time to especially document the behavior of the green. Now is a good time to get started on question number 4, where you've been asked to draw your results of the chromatography paper in a box. So what you're going to do is you'll want to show the line that was drawn in pencil, and then with your colored pencils, you're going to want to show me what our results were. And that's the end of lab number 17.